Dying friend playing that gorgeous piece of music. It made me think about losing those close to me.
Your sorrows, let this day these lands, where tomorrow there'll be sunshine, and all this darkness past.
Land of Hope and Dreams brought me to my knees. I just lost a friend to pancreatic cancer, and I'm thinking of how Bruce sang this to Clarence at his bedside. I have never cried more.
Meet me in a land of hope and dreams. There's a whole thing that goes. This train carries saints and sinners.
Poor Clarence, his only dream was to have Robin sexually, and she did not. I didn't bring that up.
That was the other thing. When he started, he told the story of singing this for Clarence. I was like, I could have been there.
I stopped.
What? You could have heard that performance.
How's your night going? Are you doing all right? Are you doing? What? I'm not drinking and driving.
Yeah, you.
I'm not. Are you all right?
You're gonna kill somebody.
Are you okay? Have a good night. Fucking dickhead. You okay? night going?
So the whole weekend I was like, I hope I don't get sick, and there was something, I hope Bruce doesn't get sick. I just want this to happen. I want it to happen already. In fact, there was discussion that the interview should happen on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. And I said to who works so hard on the show, I said, no, do it on the Monday. Bruce gave us a couple of days. I said, do it on the Monday. I want to have it happen already. I can't wait anymore. And I didn't know if I wanted it to just be Bruce, would we do a little bit of show beforehand, or I didn't know what I'm going to do. You know, sort of all
You didn't even know what time the show was going to start yesterday, remember? You couldn't even say, I want to start now, or I want to start later. You just said, I don't know. And I
don't know.
That we'll let you know 5 minutes before.
Because I didn't want you to be confused, but at the same point, the confusion for me was, you know, one of the things I find most difficult is on the days that we have a guest. I'm focused for an hour or 2 or 3 hours on, you know, being funny and doing the show, and then I got to switch gears, and then suddenly, finally get to a Bruce Springsteen interview. So I didn't even know, like, what the fuck it was going to be. Plus, the studio, we hadn't been there in so long, and all this kind of thing, and there was a lot of setup. And also, Bruce wanted to check the equipment beforehand. How is this all going to come together? So I was overwhelmed with, like, oh my God, this, that. There's so many details. I could barely focus. But I was excited. So when I woke up on yesterday morning and I went over to the studio, it was all very emotional because I hadn't been in the building in a while. And all of a sudden, like, I saw Otis, the elevator operator who I hadn't seen in 2.5 years, and he goes, hey, Howard, and we were like hugging each other. We hadn't seen each other, and I was like, yeah, man, I said, I missed you. You know, I always saw Otis in the morning, and even some of the people in the hallway, security people, just various people. And then when I got to the studio, it was very eerie, very, very
Thank you so
eerie,
much.
because
My name is Alexander
facilities, our offices at
I
Sirius
appreciate
XM
all of you
are
being
buzzing
here.
with people.
Yes.
There's a lot of running around. I'll always see JD in his office. I'll see Richard and Sal, but
Go to the store.
because of my paranoia,
Bye.
we kept everybody out, and
Why
it
did
was
the man
just,
go
it
to
was
the
like a ghost town, the whole studio. There was nobody around. When I started looking around for people, there was no one. Everyone was hiding somewhere, whoever had to be there, but only essential personnel. And so, you know, being back at the studio, I was like, oh, wow. And I went into my office, and it was just weird to be in there. I felt like I was seeing it for the first time. But it looked beautiful. Like, we have just a beautiful setup at Sirius XM. Don't forget, when I got to Sirius, they gave me the opportunity to build out our own offices and studio. They gave us a nice hunk of space. And I got to design the studio of my dreams, which in radio is unheard of. You know, even some of the top radio guys don't get that. I don't think top radio guys, they dream of getting their own studio. Years ago, I had heard that Rick Dees out in California, when he was at the height, he had his own studio, I think. He might have had his own studio, but you don't, not too many guys get that in radio. And I worked in so many shithole radio stations that, you know, the idea that...
We were lucky to have floorboards under us.
Yeah, and I liked, what I loved, I wasn't doing it to be a prima donna. There was a certain beauty in the crossover with other DJs. But what I didn't like about it is I'm very particular about the settings and the sound of a radio show. And some people, when they would use my equipment or use the station's equipment, disagreed with me, so I couldn't get the sound I wanted.
Or there were always adjustments to be made, you know, like we'd have to restart every day trying to find it.
Like, even after 2.5 years, everything on my board and
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. What's up? Oh boy, have I had a night. I hit 4 mics, did well at 1. Yes, ma'am. Abruptly stopped at a red light, and a biker.
You almost hit me.
Did I really?
Yeah.
When?
You almost went through that light and that biker yelled at you.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That was
Dude,
bad.
I zoned out because I saw those cops on the side, right? And I was like, oh wow. And I zoned out. I was like,
honked
"Grr." Did you honk at me?
Yes, that was me.
Oh no shit. Yeah, no, that was really bad.
The red light.
Dude. And he yelled at me.
Yeah, dude.
And
you were gonna go through it.
I rolled down the window and I was like, I stopped. And he goes, you're drinking at night and you're dead. I'm like, I haven't had a drink, sir. How's your night been? I started, and he was like, David, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like fucking with him.
Yeah, nice.
But, yeah. No, I never do, dude, I never do that. And I was like, oh, fuck.
That's
And then
hilarious.
he like freaked out at me. And I
Yeah,
was
they
like,
didn't
are you,
write it
I was
down.
like, are you all right? Totally in a different lane than me,
Context, yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah, that's
chill the
hilarious.
fuck out, man. Like, old Austin cunt.
Yeah, okay.
But I rolled down the window.
there was one guy who did go through
No,
a
no,
red
no.
light. that
He
red light.
kept, but dude, he kept go. He was like, "La, la, la." Like he was like yelling, and I was like, "Are you okay?" Through my window, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's not gonna be yelled at, but yeah.
No, I haven't done anything tonight. It's been a long day, and I zoned out, and I ran all over town doing mics, and I was just heading home, and I zoned out. I was so
That's
good my
hilarious.
whole ride, and
Dude, you would have taken me out if you had gone through.
no, I wouldn't have gone. I mean, dude, I would. That's why I broke. I wasn't gonna go through that, and I broke hard. I broke really hard. You saw me.
Yeah.
The moment I know it doesn't matter. You break because you don't want to fucking run. I didn't want to run the red light, and I didn't want to hit anyone. I'm gonna break, and he's yelling at me because I'm taking proper precautions. All right, over my already zone out moment.
That's hilarious.
Chill the fuck out. Like, you know, that's all I mean, he's in no harm in his position too. He's
Yeah.
just being a cunt. So that's it.
That's hilarious. I can believe that. That's too.
I did awful at Creek, so I almost took that in a bad way.
Oh, what?
I almost took that really to heart, like him yelling at me, and I was like, it's meant to be because I did bad, and now he's and I don't belong here. And I was like, fuck you. This little baby 50-year-old man in skin tight biker shorts. How's your night been?
Good, I went to that buffet place after Planet Fitness.
That one next door?
Yeah.
You went after Planet Fitness? That's a bad idea.
I just wanted to check it out.
Was it bad?
Terrible.
What do you mean?
Buffet.
No?
I saw one of the cooks picking his nose.
Yeah. I like
Please
places like
take
that.
people.
Wipe their ass. Start the food. I have a fuck ton of work to do, and